Good evening. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Carolina Panthers Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, some more news as Carolina has hired their new executive vice president of football operations in the form of Brandt Tilis, coming from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, we know they're getting ready to play in the Super Bowl, but it is official that Brandt Tilis will be the new executive VP of football operations. And they actually got some articles up as we speak on Panthers.com. So, kind of wanted to go through and check out both of these articles because they're very intriguing, So, and I'll put these in the description so that everybody can check them out, follow along, see what I'm talking about. But Brandt Tilis wins. Now, first off, let me see here. Okay. So, here it is. It says, and I quote, "The Panthers have made another significant addition to their front office as they build toward the future." It says the team has hired former Chiefs executive Brandt Tilis as their new executive vice president of football operations. Now, of course, this was kind of rumored that, this was on the way to happening, that Dan Morgan has targeted Brandt Tilis. So, sure enough, it's been confirmed. Anyway, let's continue. The football executive management team will be led by new Panthers president of football operations / general manager Dan Morgan, which that was decided about like a week or two ago. Tilis will be responsible for all football administration and non-coaching matters related to operations, equipment, video, analytics, among other areas. He will also lead player contract negotiations, compliance with the NFL collective bargaining agreement and league rules, salary cap management, and maintenance and labor administration. So those will be his main roles. Tilis, who was Kansas City's lead contract negotiator, adds an analytical approach to the cap and contracts to a mix of experienced personnel men as they move forward alongside new head coach Dave Canellis. Quotes from Dan Morgan said, "It's great to add Brandt and his experience to our organization," Morgan said. "He comes from a championship caliber team in Kansas City and will play a lead role in our front office. We are looking forward to getting him here and working together to build this team." Tilis has spent the last 14 seasons with the Chiefs and the last 3 as vice president of football operations. He has been their lead contract negotiator since 2017 and worked to create a structure that allowed them to give quarterback Patrick Mahomes, of course, 2-time Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes, a record-breaking 10-year, $450 million contract extension in 2020. Yep, that is the man to thank who did that for Patrick Mahomes. I've been hearing quite a bit about this guy, and I've been hearing positive things. I mean, after all, with him coming from the Kansas City Chiefs, he's been there 14 years, so he's seen a lot of success, especially within the last couple of years, being that the Chiefs have become the dynasty that they are to this day. After all, they're getting ready to play in another Super Bowl, so that should tell you something. But I wanted to check out this article says 5 things to know about new executive VP of football operations, Brandt Tilis. So I'm very curious to go through these. So let's just start right from the top. Number 1, Tilis worked his way up through the Chiefs' financial side. It says Tilis has been with the Kansas City Chiefs since 2010, initially joining the franchise as a salary cap / contract analyst. He has spent the past 10 plus years working through the organization as the director of salary cap and football operations analytics, which was 2014 to 2016, and then director of football administration from 2017 to 2020. And then he has been vice president of football operations for the past 3 seasons. Tilis interviewed the Panthers following the 2020 season for the open GM position. The Panthers hired Scott Fitterer for the vacancy, and Tilis stayed with the Chiefs with the title change. So he has interviewed for that GM spot with Carolina before, but Scott Fitterer ended up getting it. So it is a familiar name to the Panthers organization. Okay. Number 2, Tilis's background was shaped by finance. This is interesting. Tilis's career has been shaped by financial decisions and how they impact an organization. It makes sense, as that is Tilis's background, even preceding football. He graduated in 2007 from the University of Rochester with 2 degrees in economics and statistics, including a special citation in finance. While in school, Tilis spent his summers working as an intern for the Oakland Raiders. Oh, that's cool. Tilis's knowledge has helped him become an authority on salary cap decisions, player contracts in relation to club resources, etc. He has been at the forefront of every contract decision and free agent deal for the Chiefs since 2017. Well, this will definitely be quite a challenge for Mr. Tilis here in Carolina. Definitely got some things to work through, not only with the salary cap, but, the draft, and just with the mission of helping to rebuild this team. Because Carolina, this team needs to go through a major overhaul. And this is going to be one of the challenges, and being able to structure contracts, make 4th contracts, whether it's re-signing folks, bringing on new folks, cutting folks. I mean, it's a big responsibility. But he has done well with that in Kansas City. So it's promising. This is promising. Number 3, Tilis is responsible for the record-breaking contract. Being at the forefront of those contracts means Tilis had his fingerprints all over one of the most significant contracts to reverberate across the NFL in recent years. In 2020, Tilis was behind the record-breaking contract for quarterback Patrick Mahomes. The contract which made waves and set a new precedent for valuing quarterbacks in the league was a 10-year, $450 million deal. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That is Patrick Mahomes' current contract. 10 years, $450 million. And this dude is getting ready to play in another Super Bowl. This man has an opportunity to win his 3rd Super Bowl. Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. As the salary cap has expanded and quarterback deals have skyrocketed, Tilis' foresight with the Mahomes contract helped give the Chiefs security at what has become a good deal. Henceforth, look at how Patrick Mahomes has been doing and where he's at. Just saying. Chiefs general manager Brett Veach credited Tilis at that time with seeing the writing on the wall for the Mahomes contract and using baseball deals as a blueprint. Began preparing the Chiefs years ahead of time to take on a massive deal for their MVP quarterback. As early as 2017, well before Mahomes would even become a starter, Tilis laid out a plan for the Chiefs to be prepared when this massive deal would come true. Wow. Wow. And not to mention, keep in mind, Patrick Mahomes is only 28 years old. He's only 28 years old. Not to mention, we're talking about somebody that's a two-time MVP, a two-time Super Bowl MVP, as well as two-time Super Bowl champion. And Mr. Tilis, he did not hesitate to lock this guy in. And look at what the Chiefs have been able to do with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, his resume speaks for itself. And the Chiefs have their franchise quarterback for a long time. I mean, at least for another 7 years. So, sounds like this dude knows what he's doing, and he knows about retaining their best talent. And Patrick Mahomes is surely one of those. And I feel like it's something that Carolina has to learn from. Now, I'm not saying that it has to be record-breaking contracts, but Carolina has to do a better job at retaining the important pieces. So, just food for thought. All right. Let's see. That was number 3. Okay, number 4. Mr. Tilis, he loves the interpersonal side of the role. Okay? Much of Tilis' role with the Chiefs and now with the Panthers revolves around in-depth conversations with players, agents, and club personnel, each seeking the best for their interests. As the man at or near the top, so many can come to Tilis with requests at all times. It can be overwhelming, but Tilis says he approaches it with radical authenticity and being the same person in each interaction and situation. The weight of responsibility is something he considers a privilege, though telling the podcast 1% Better last fall, he says, and I quote, "I like having the responsibility for the organization and other people. Each conversation is a building block for what I need to do during the offseason. I love the responsibility and knowing my role is contributing to our organization in a positive way." So it sounds like this guy has great intentions and he's about doing what's best. Sounds like somebody that is willing to listen to the players, agents, whoever. And it sounds like he's willing to meet folks in the middle. And I think that says a lot. I mean, him embracing that responsibility. Because you got to think about it. Whatever your job is, when you embrace your responsibility, when you love that responsibility, you're pushed to go to the max and beyond the max to do your job well. And it sounds like this man values doing his job well. I think that's a big positive. I really do. I think that's a big positive. So, I like it. And then number 5, the last one, he values a balance of methods. Okay, let's see. It says, following college and before joining the Chiefs, Tilis joined the NFL Management Council as an intern and then the Labor Operations Department. While at the league office, Tilis served as Labor Operations Coordinator. As he has risen the ranks in the NFL, he's seen the evolution of player evaluation as analytics have become more and more prevalent in scouting. When the Chiefs would sit down each offseason to break down each draftable player and how that player could fit into the Chiefs organization, Tilis has pushed for an open dialogue that weighs both old school methods, of watching a player's tape and learning who he is off the field, with the more new age philosophy of breaking down his impact through every measurable metric. That's the billion-dollar question: how to meld those two things, Tilis told the OPB podcast. So far, I like what I'm seeing from these articles. I like what I'm seeing, and I know he's going to be in a very challenging situation, especially when it comes to the draft for Carolina. I mean, y'all know the situation with our upcoming draft. We don't even have a first-round draft pick. So it's going to be a very challenging situation for Brandt Tilis, but according to what it says about what he brings to the table, his resume, it really sounds like he can contribute to being able to overcome this challenge. And that is what's necessary to help the organization overcome this challenge and push forward. Because there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but they need to get a great start of that and then progress. And it's going to take time. It's going to take time. I'm not expecting quick fixes. There may be some that could be quick fixes, but I'm not expecting all of it to be quick fixes. You know, this organization has a lot of issues and has a lot to fix and repair, but it's got to start somewhere, and then it's got to progress up. So, like I said, I like the hire. From what I've read here, I like the hire. And it sounds like this could really, really work out. Also, I wanted to throw in an update that it is official that defensive coordinator Ajaro Avero will be staying with Carolina as the defensive coordinator. So, good stuff there. And that was because Mike McDonald ended up being the new head coach for the Seattle Seahawks. So he's their new coach. And I know that Seattle was one of the destinations that interviewed Coach Avero. But that's great news. Great news for Carolina. They're able to retain their defensive coordinator. And the only thing about that, I mean, I assume they're going to continue to run a 3-4 defense. I'm not a big fan of it, but if they can get the personnel for it, then hey, do what you got to do. Use what works. That's all I can say about that. But I think overall, I like this hire of Brandt Tilis. You know, Dan Morgan, it seems like Dan Morgan's been doing a pretty good job. And I know they just recently, they did a clip of when Dave Canellis arrived in Charlotte for the Carolina Panthers. Got quite the warm welcome. And, you know, he's even got an X account up and running. So he's been tweeting and was even blocking Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, hey, I guess he's really serious about staying in-house, if that makes any sense. But, you know, moves have been made. And it looks like things are shaping up little by little. We got our president of football operations / general manager. We got our new head coach. He's brought forth some new pieces for the coaching staff. And we got our VP of football operations, executive VP. So, hey, what do y'all think? What do y'all think of the new hires so far, with especially this one, Brandt Tilis? Like I said, he's come from the Kansas City Chiefs, and you know the last couple of years they've been successful. They have a dynasty. So, what do you think? You think he'll be a big help for us? Let me know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to check out the link in the description for Game Beauty as well. You want to do some shopping for some video game themed makeup and cosmetic products, be sure to check that out and use that promo code BlitzballChamp Blitzball_champ, all in caps, for 10% off. And don't forget to check out the Panthers links in the description as well to follow along with what was discussed. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. For another Carolina Panthers talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the YouTube, the Tube. My name is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed evening, and I will see y'all in the next video and or live stream. Keep pounding. See you later.